Welcome back to another episode of Maybe One Day. My name is LJ Jones, and this episode is probably one that I have been most excited for. I have my brother Blake from Duck Takes.
Thank you so much for having me. I know we've been trying to make this happen for some time now, and glad that we're finally making this happen. I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. I'm so excited. You rebranded and you messed up my intro. I almost Blake's Takes. Did you catch that?
No, it's funny because since we rebranded, that's like everyone will say Blake's Takes first. Like, oh wait, Duck Takes. But I mean, yeah, Blake's Takes was the name for a long time, so like I can't blame anyone who are saying it. You can still call me Blake's Takes, but yeah, rebranded to Duck Takes. You know, to include my brother more. It's also our last name is Duckworth and play on DuckTales, so it fits perfectly. You know?
When I saw that, I was like, I grew up. I'm a big DuckTales fan.
Okay,
I have kids, and I'm the type of father you can watch what's out, but first you're gonna watch the good stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You can watch Bluey, but we're watching DuckTales. So when I saw that, I was like, I love it.
I appreciate it. And my cousin's gonna be pissed if I don't give him a shout out because he did give us the idea for that name as well. So of course he did. Shout out to our cousin Sean.
That's awesome. But man, let's go to the beginning. So your show is, it's a movie based, entertainment based. So where did you fall in love with entertainment?
Man, to be honest, I feel like I was kind of late to the game, which is weird because it almost made me feel like, do I belong in this business? Right. Because I felt like I was late to the game, but it really began after I quit football. Sports was my love. I mean, I still love sports. I'm still obsessed with keeping up with football and everything.
We're going to have to talk about your basketball shots, though.
Yeah, we could talk about that.
I'm a basketball fan, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, not my first sport, I'll tell you that. But, just obsessed with sports growing up. I mostly played football and baseball. I went to college. I went, and played football at college for a year, which was tough as hell. And then once I quit football, that's when I really was starting to explore, what else do I love? And movies was just what kept gravitating to me. And I was just very intrigued of what went behind the making of a movie. I would find myself always looking up behind the scenes, that sort of thing, and just wanting to learn all these facts. I just was so fascinated by it. And then once I transferred schools, I was going to have to choose a degree, right? So I thought to myself, well, why am I going to keep myself in school to study something that I don't want to pursue or not interested in learning? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do film. I'm going to major in film. And yeah. And then from there, it was just, really getting some great experiences with other students and other great experiences, like going out to California and doing a film program at UCLA for the summer and doing an internship at a production company. And that's where the basis started for film, for my love for film.
So I have to ask, because I'm a filmmaker, I'm an actor. Yep. I never went to film school. I need to know if all the jokes people make about film school are right.
You don't need to go to film school. I will say that.
Yeah.
And one piece of advice I would give to someone who goes to film school is to just build those connections.
Absolutely.
Network as much as you can, because I don't even think I took advantage of that, if I'm going to be honest.
I think that's the most important thing in this business.
100%. 100%. It's all about connections. And you really learn that the older you get, and your parents try telling you that and you're like, yeah, whatever. But no, it's all about the connections. And so, yeah, I mean, you don't need to, but I also think if you want to, go ahead, you should. It's also a fun time. You can meet some great friends. You can make some student films. I mean, there are pros and cons, just like everything in life. Yeah.
But I mean, I always hear, I just saw, and I think I sent it to Justin. There's a meeting talking about how he went to film school. And yeah, you're right. I watch movies all day. That was all class was. But that sounds like the best day ever.
Yeah.
Like watching movies and breaking is why we do the podcast.
Right.
We love breaking down movies. I grew up watching, so my parents owned an assisted living facility and we lived there until I was like 8 years old. So we're living in the business that they own and operate, and they're working 24/7. And so I don't want to call myself like a latchkey kid, but they're working. And so they're like, all right, here, go watch this. And so I just watched movie when I wasn't at school. I was sitting there watching movies all day. And I loved it. Like whenever I got a movie or whenever I got a DVD, it was immediately to the behind the scenes. Before I'd watch a movie, I'd watch the behind the scenes because I wanted to see what went into making it. Like how much fun did they have? Because a lot of times you can tell, whether or not they enjoyed. You could say you loved it. You can say you enjoy your co-stars, but you could tell. But when I think of film school, I always think about the short films that you make when you're there.
Right.
So you make some?
Not that many, but we did make one. It was titled The Bear, and it took place. We filmed it on campus at night in the woods, which they always tell you, like making a short film, try to avoid filming at night because, like, at that point, right in the woods, because like you're a young film, student, you're not really sure all like how to get that great lighting or that sort of thing, and so they advised us not to shoot at night. We were like, nah, we're gonna shoot at night. And it was titled The Bear. And oh man, let me think of like how to explain it. So it was a group of friends who were camping out in a few tents. And one tent kept waking up because they thought they were hearing a bear in the woods. And there's one scene where you see my whole ass, and we show it. We showed this to the class as well. Like we're excited, and there was one scene where they come out and like think I'm the bear, but I was taking a piss and I'd like tripped and my whole ass was out, and then you find out later that the noise of the bear was our other friend who was just snoring, like so silly, so dumb, but like. It was just so fun to make.
How was it? Was it played as a comedy or was it played as like a?
Yeah. It was more of like a horror comedy,
okay,
or mostly comedy.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want to see that. No, I don't want to see your ass. I would love to see.
You know what? I think it's still up on YouTube, so I'll send you the link.
Please do.
I will send you the link.
That I think back to like the first movie we made together, and we were. I don't know, 20, 21, but we were smart enough to do a feature instead of a short. And I mean, we've talked about it on the show before, but it's like you go in that you know everything.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Like, you know everything. And one of our partners in the film, like he had went to film school. And so like we were able to rent the equipment from the school, and we went out and we shot this feature, a full feature. I think it's like an hour and 27 minutes in 8 days, 3-man crew. It's a $500 budget.
That's awesome.
And I'm still proud of it.
I love that.
I'll have to say that you, give me grace with it. Right. I directed it. I wrote it. I starred in it. We filmed it together. He edited, him and our partner, John Barton, edited the movie, and, we scouted locations. Like it was a journey that, you have with motherhood. Really. And, I'm glad that we did it. I learned a lot from it, and the film I made after that, that was a short film. It was much better in terms of. I don't want to say in terms of quality, but it was just like more going into it.
Right.
So, do you have any aspirations to go ahead and continue shooting films, creating films, television, whatever it might be?
And it's funny that you asked that, and like we're talking about this now because that is actually something that I was just thinking about the other day in bed. Just couldn't fall asleep. And I was thinking about this. Like it's weird. I always wanted to like be in a movie. Like that's still a dream of mine, is to be in a movie. And, cause we didn't really grow up watching like we didn't get shown a lot of movies to us from our parents. We still watched movies for sure. Everyone does, but that wasn't just like our family thing. Right. We have our Christmas movies, we have that sort of thing. That just wasn't our thing. And, So it's just interesting to see how my love for film has like grown and like through different avenues, because I feel like a lot of people who do have love for film, they it's just something they grew up with. You know what I mean? And but one thing I always loved about films was just like taking yourself out of your own reality for an hour or two. I just always found that fascinating. And you know, you go to film school, obviously you think a lot of people who go to film school, their aspiration is to be in a movie, direct a movie.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to be in it, you might do in theater.
Sure.
But like, that's the goal. But it's a hard one to achieve too.
Absolutely.
So it's like, where can I step in the right direction to make this happen? That's why I say build connections. And I was just thinking about how I've always wanted to make like a feature film. I thought about doing a short film first, like another short film where I write, direct, and all that stuff, and a horror short film. And I want to do horror for sure as the first either short or feature film. And just the other night, I was like, you know what? It's always hard to come up with a big sum of money to create a movie. I've really, over the last year, and especially this spooky season, have just absolutely grown a lot of love for found footage.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, you know what? That's one way to make a movie. I absolutely love found footage. So just the other night, I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a found footage horror movie for the first feature.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Found footage is, I have like a love-hate relationship with it because,
And a lot of people do.
well, I mean, like it can be done really well,
Right.
but it could also be done very poorly.
100%. Exactly. No, 100%. Because like when it's done really well, fantastic.
Yeah.
But when it's done poorly,
Yeah.
you can easily see it's done poorly.
I think like, I mean, we live in Florida, so what's the movie that was shot here?
Here or
Tampa, Sarasota. What movie am I thinking of?
the found footage one?
Blair Witch?
So Blair Witch was shot in Maryland, but it was UCF film studio.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
So I saw that and I was like, oh, this is just inspirational right here, you know?
But I loved it with Paranormal Activity, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, I never went past the first one. But like that was one I was like, this was done really, really well.
That one scared me a lot as a kid.
Oh, sure. I think I was 13 maybe when it came out, and I was in LA, and me and a couple of my actor friends, we went to see it, and one of the I'm not going to name drop, but one of the actor friends that when we went, he had just done one episode of a Disney Channel show. It literally was his first job. It was
cool.
It was his first job. We went and we saw Paranormal Activity, and we walk out and we're just kind of walking down. It was one of the theaters in Burbank, and we're walking down the street. And this girl just screamed his name out, but his character's name, and it scared the hell out of us because we're like, it's kind of dark where we're walking. We're by an alleyway, and this just loud, high pitched screaming voice just screamed his character name, and we freaked out.
Yeah, no, that one got me as a kid. And funny enough, because I know I was like, just talking about how I wanted to be a horror movie for my first feature, and I hated horror movies as a kid.
Really,
I hated them. I didn't get the point of being scared. I didn't like being scared.
Yeah.
I was scarred from my dad sat me down, you know, those computer games back in like the 2000s where you like focus really hard to try to follow the dot or something, and like Reagan from The Exorcist pops up. And I was like 8 years old, hid under the desk for like 10 minutes just crying. So yeah, I really didn't like horror movies at all. And then then I started watching Halloween, starting to get into the slashers and a few other horror movies that we watched in film school. I started to grow my love for horror. But I mean, yeah, I absolutely love horror movies now. It's my favorite genre.
You know, it's you might call me a bad father for this, but my son, he's an actor as well, and he got an audition for Five Nights at Freddy's.
No way.
And it was to play like a demon possessed kid. Or else that was what it felt like it was.
Yeah.
And he had never seen a horror movie. I think at the time he was 7.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I can't just show him how to, I can't do it. I have to show him what some movies and possessed child look like.
Yeah.
I showed him a clip from Insidious.
Okay.
And which is one of my favorites.
Yep.
Tiptoe Through the Tulip.
Underrated.
Scares the hell out of us to this day.
We'll speak about the Halloween Horror Nights house too. A little later.
I didn't get to go. I really wanted to.
So good. It was so good.
But my son now, he loves horror movies, and he's not scared of anything. And there's some that I'm not gonna let him watch, like the super gory stuff or stuff, or anything like that. But like he loves, he loves, Nightmare on Elm Street. We were just debating this. Nightmare on Elm Street, he loves. That's his favorite killer. But we were just talking about how the first Nightmare, I don't like it at all.
No.
I don't.
Which one's your favorite then of the franchise?
Of the franchise, I would say is Dream Street. That's the
Dream Warriors?
Dream Warriors.
Yeah, the third one.
Where they're in the psychotic.
Funny enough, that's the one that I didn't like. However, I have only ran through that franchise once. I've seen the first one multiple times, but I've only seen the other ones once.
Yeah.
So I would like to rewatch all those movies and see what my second opinion is.
We'll probably do a hot takes thing later, but I'm going to spoil one. Him and I both, we like the remake better than the original.
Yeah, that's a hot take. that's a piping hot take.
Freddy looks terrible. He looks terrible. But I love the story. I thought it was shot well. I know it's a hot take. Yeah. I know it is, but I like it better. I don't know why.
I mean, hey, we all got hot takes.
Yeah,
right. That's the beauty about film.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Stoney, who we had on the other week, Stoney the Great on TikTok, who's a big horror movie guy, and I mean, yeah, just what you were talking about. You know, his love for horror started when he was young because he always watched horror movies with his dad. I was like, damn, see, that seems pretty cool because like our dad just didn't really show us horror movies, which is fine. You know what I mean? But it's just funny how everyone's story is different when it comes to that stuff.
My uncle, my youngest uncle, let's see, when I was going into kindergarten, he was graduating high school. Okay. So he was definitely older than me, but kind of like a much older, bigger brother. And he's the one who introduced horror to me. And I can't remember what the first one was, but I remember like the first couple I watched, like the Brittany Snow adaptation of Prom Night.
Okay. The one with Idris Elba?
Was he? I haven't seen it.
What is it, like the 2008 one? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah. See that? Yeah. It was The Fog, 2005.
Okay.
Premonition, Sandra Bullock. And then from there I was like, oh, I liked it. I went through phases with it, but from there, you know, that's when I went in and I was like, Friday the 13th. I think the first Jason movie I watched was Freddy vs. Jason.
Okay. Banger.
It is.
It's a good one.
People shit talk it.
Dude, it's one of the most fun horror movies there is.
It's so much fun.
It's so good. I didn't even love that one.
And I'm so mad at myself that I waited so long to watch Scream. I think I watched the Scream franchise for the first time 3 years ago.
Really?
And like that's a franchise, you know, I rank them how I rank them.
Yeah.
But like if I sit down and watch the first one, within the next week, I'm watching the rest of them.
Yes.
And I don't know, that's like the only franchise like that's like that for me.
That consistency. Yeah. No, Scream franchise is, you could debate the most consistent horror franchise, 100%. My second favorite franchise of all time. I'm always going to love Halloween the most. It's just,
that's my second.
Yeah.
Or just what?
And it's weird because like, it's not even that nostalgic because I didn't watch it as a kid, but it still is because that was like the first horror franchise that grew my love for that genre. But yeah, Scream and Halloween are like right there for me.
So you want to make horror films. If it wasn't a horror film, what would you want to do?
That's a good question. Like any other genre?
Any other genre.
I would not say comedy because I don't think I'm funny. Although people have told me I'm funny, but I'm like...
I'm going to say I'm shooting a stoner comedy right now. I got to throw you in it.
Do it. Because it's funny too, because it's like... You never know how much money you're working with, I guess. I would say... If it wasn't horror, I would say drama.
Drama, yeah.
I would say drama, yeah. I think I've always enjoyed a nice drama.
Yeah, you like crying?
I do.
I cry so easy watching movies.
Me too.
The Iron Claw, I almost rewatched it last night, and I was like, I can't do this to myself.
I haven't put myself through a rewatch yet. But man, yeah, because I saw that with my brother in theaters. I'm like,
oh my gosh,
oh God,
I had to make it 10 times harder to watch.
Yeah. But no, I love a good cry.
Yeah.
I was just rewatching the scene from Interstellar today, the docking scene. I'm like, even this is just getting me emotional just because of the music.
Right.
La La Land. Every time I watch that movie, it will make me cry at least 4 times. Jurassic Park, when I see the dinosaurs for the first time and John Williams' theme plays.
Oh, that theme is so beautiful.
Just beautiful. I'm like, I'm crying right now. Not because I'm sad, because it's so beautiful.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like, there's like, I cry so easy watching movies. Like, it might be just easier to say I cry during every movie.
Right.
I I think the first time I cried, no, the first time I cried was watching Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Were you a Pokemon?
I'm not a Pokemon guy.
There's an episode. I'm not anymore, but when I was a kid, like I loved it. And there's an episode where Ash gives up Pikachu to go be with his Pikachu family, and I was like maybe 5, and I was just like my mom had a minivan with TV in the back, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just watching while we're driving, and I'm crying, and my mom's, "What's wrong with you?" It's like, Pikachu went with his family, and she's like, "Again, what is wrong with you?"
Oh my God. Though, you know, will give me every time. I literally just rewatched the scene on YouTube the other day because I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. when Boo is showing Sully her room at the end, knowing that he has to say goodbye. So, bro, the music, it gets me every time. But it's like, who doesn't want to feel that? You know what I mean? Like, you got to feel every emotion.
You have to. But when I want to cry, I go to Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Usually. But I wipe my own ass. That moment, for some reason, it just breaks me.
Well, and I'm sure, too, especially when, like, people start having kids and they go back and rewatch that, like, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of movies that start hitting different for me when I have a kid down the road, you know?
Goofy movie, especially.
Everyone talks about that one. Yeah.
Telling you, bro.
Everyone talks about that one. So I'll have to see. But yeah, no, a good cry is healthy. And Sandman, we were big Sandman people growing up. Yes, absolutely. We always watched Adam Sandler movies growing up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, man. It's like
Click.
I know that one breaks me.
Yeah.
That In the Rain, like, oh my gosh.
I think that's another like slept on one.
It is, but a lot of his movies are. And it's like, I was debating with somebody that I work with. They're like, you know, they saw Uncut Gems. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think he'd be a good dramatic actor. I'm like, let's first of all,
pause.
Comedy is hard.
No, 100%. I think comedy is probably the hardest.
It is.
And if you can succeed in comedy, like we've seen, like, for example, I mean, he's the GOAT of it, but like Jim Carrey, you know, I think there are actors that can do the dramatic roles that Jim Carrey has done, but they can't do his comedic roles.
No.
You know?
No.
So it's definitely harder.
There's a musicality to comedy that's really hard to find.
Timing to it,
the rhythm, I mean, it's so hard to find.
Improvisation, like
I always say, like, look, I'm not the funniest guy. I'm a decent dramatic actor, and it's like that comedy is something that I've been working on because of that musicality. It's so, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easier to do drama. And when I think of Adam Sandler drama, I love Uncut Gems, but I go to Reign Over Me.
Okay.
Have you seen that one?
That's the one I haven't seen, but I know exactly what movie you're talking about.
It is that movie. You want to cry.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, maybe not an Iron Claw cry, but maybe pretty close.
You know, funny enough, I would always see that movie in the cable lineup scrolling through the channels, but because I was just, when I was younger, I was just always, if I'm going to watch Adam Sandler, I want to laugh. Yeah. Like, I knew that wasn't one of his comedic roles somehow. I just never watched it because I'm like, no, it's not one of the funnier movies.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, when you watch it, please text me and let me know what you think. That movie, I always recommend that to people. Everybody's always, you know, talking about Uncut Gems or like Punch Drunk Love. So if they have Punch Drunk Love, I mean, but and that's another thing to talk about too. He was doing dramas early,
right? 100%.
People skip past that for a second. Even The Wedding Singer was pretty dramatic.
Yeah, no, like a lot of dramatic role or like dramatic scenes in there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's so much to go to, you know, when we talk about the films that we love, the films that we love now, growing up. So would it be found footage horror was the one that was like, this is what's making me love film? Or was there a completely different genre that, like, what piqued your interest about film school? What film was it that was like, I want to learn that. I want to do that.
Okay. Funny enough, and for some reason, I'm like, out of all the movies that I've grown to love, I feel like maybe a lot of people don't know this. Freshman year in college, I was still playing football. I wasn't doing film school yet. And I watched Straight Outta Compton on my laptop. Yeah. And I was like, damn, I really like that. I want to know more. Yeah. And for some reason, I remember that's like the movie that made me go, okay, you know what? Let's really dive into this. Yeah. Like, out of all the movies that I loved before that, that was like the beginning of like, you know what? let's do this.
Straight Outta Compton is a great movie.
It's a great biopic.
Oh yeah, and F. Gary, I love the F. Gary Gray was a part of that.
Yes.
That he directed the movie, because when you go back to Friday, it was Ice Cube's first movie, and so that to me was
Fantastic.
the circle moment of that was beautiful, and the film was just shot so well. Like the performances were so. I wanted to buy up.
The actors were great.
They really were.
And I think that's because we've seen a lot of biopics in recent years, especially about musical artists.
Yeah.
And I think Straight Outta Compton is still one of the better ones.
Definitely, and that's not just hip hop.
Yeah, no, out of all of them.
No, out of all of them.
Yeah,
I love a good hip hop. I'm a hip hop head.
me too.
So it's like even the bad ones I kind of like. Like people say Notorious is a bad one. I do enjoy it.
I haven't seen that one.
Anthony Mackie's Tupac, that's terrible. Have you seen any of those clips?
Anthony Mackie did Tupac? Oh, wait.
In Notorious, yeah.
I think I have seen clips, maybe. I might have seen clips for that.
So bad. He tried.
I think it was like trending on Twitter or something. Yeah. Yeah. But no, yeah, I love Friday. And even movies like Friday, those are movies that I just found myself scrolling through cable as well. So it's funny because I feel like a lot of people have movies that were shown to them. But I mean, damn, there's a lot of movies that I just found myself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you a trailer guy? Like if you see like a poster that's interesting, are you watching the trailer to see if you'd be interested, or you just
No.
what?
I'm just gonna give me a description.
Yeah.
Let me see the poster. And I'll
He's
see.
judging books by his cover. We were told not to do that, man.
Yeah. but wouldn't the trailer be judging it by its cover a little? It'd be
An in-depth cover.
It'd be like judging it of the bio on the back of the film, right? The book. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I feel like people know in their first watch of a trailer if they're going to see the movie or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's an interesting premise, who's in it, who's directing it now. See, once you start to see like how industry works and like who's going to be in what movie, it's directed by this director, I'm very interested in that no matter what the movie's going to be.
So you're really in it when you're asking who the cinematographer is.
That too.
That's the point I'm at.
Yeah.
I was like, who did the cinematography? Oh yeah, I'm in.
And that's why we need Greg Fraser back for Batman 2 and Dune Messiah.
Absolutely. Look at him.
Because that man is cooking. But yeah, I mean, even like Robert Eggers' Nosferatu coming out, I didn't need to see the trailer. I was going to be seated there no matter what.
Yep.
But that is probably one of the best trailers I've seen in years.
Oh, it looks amazing.
I've seen that trailer probably like 20 times.
I have a guy out in Atlanta. He has like a media company. His name's Derek Myers Jr., the OTS. He's a guy who refuses to watch trailers.
I just met a guy recently too who refuses to watch trailers. He said he hasn't watched a trailer in like 8 years.
Yeah, I think he said like he might have been 16 the last time he watched a trailer.
Wow.
And he's a little older than me, so he's probably about 30, 31 now.
There.
But he's like, they show too much.
They do.
They show too much. I want it to be fresh when I watch it.
Because even, oh man, what's that movie? Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but even they were talking about the movie Abigail with Melissa Brera, Giancarlo Esposito, and how, they already knew the twist of it. I guess you could call it a twist, but they already knew it because the trailer shows it, the little girl's a vampire. And like, that could be a good twist for the movie. You're like, oh shit. But yeah, no, they do show a lot.
It's hard to make a perfect trailer.
Yeah.
I know that because I've tried making one for both of my films, so I can't do it. I'm like, I'm not even putting this out. But it's like, there's got to be a way to do it well, to catch people's attention without giving it all away. You know what I mean? So let's get to your podcast.
Okay.
So we've gone over, film school, your love for films. Where did the podcast come from?
All right. So to be honest, I feel like a very common denominator that you will get with a lot of content creators these days and where their channel or where their podcast started from is COVID.
Yeah.
So we didn't start it yet in 2020, but I had graduated film school in 2020. So not the best year to graduate from that. Earlier in the year, before the pandemic, I had a really great internship at a production company in Orlando. And they did a lot of behind the scenes stuff. One of their biggest clients is Universal. So it was just really cool because I was getting on a lot of behind the scenes shoots. I was getting a lot of commercial shoots and that sort of thing. Just being on set, getting hands-on experience. So that was going really well. And halfway through that, pandemic happened, never got to like finish out that internship. Graduated in December of 2020, and like everything is still shut down. Production companies were still shut down. No one was really making anything. So I was kind of just like stuck between a rock and a hard place of like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And, I was still serving at the restaurant that I had been at for years. And I was like, you know what? I have a camera. I have a mic. Let's just turn it on, see what happens. I'll start posting on YouTube. So I started posting like YouTube reviews first. And this was in the summer of 2021.
Yeah.
And a few months into doing that, one of my coworkers who was doing TikTok, he just posted like edits and stuff like that. But he was like, hey, you should just take clips from your YouTube and post them on TikTok for the algorithm. I didn't even have TikTok downloaded on my phone because I thought it was just like a dancing app.
Yeah.
You know, an app that was just for like stupid stuff. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And he was like, yeah, the algorithm is much better. And so I just started posting clips here and there onto TikTok. And yes, that algorithm is definitely a lot better. You know, it wasn't growing much at all yet. And then about 6 months into creating Blake Steaks at the time, my brother, who had recently moved to where I was living for school, he went to UCF as well. I asked him to just do a few recordings with me because it's always easier just to banter back and forth between someone. You know, you're recording by yourself, it can get tricky for sure. And he was still like skeptical. He didn't want to buy all into it yet because he knows how particular I am with things.
Yeah.
You know, OCD with some things. Like I said, telling you earlier, like I'm the one that designs the studio stuff. And, but yeah, we did a few recordings and that's when like the video started taking off. It's like, that's pretty cool. And so he started just recording more. And the more you do it, you get a feel of how you want the videos to look, how you want your background to look, how you want to edit them. And, it was just, you know, a lot of fun talking about movies, talking about just cutting the shit basically, you know, and, just sharing an appreciation for, at the time we were doing like a lot of Star Wars stuff, Marvel, DC, superhero stuff. So it just grew from there. And over the years, just, you know, built up the studio, built up the equipment over the years. And it wasn't until last year until, you know, I'm like able to do this, you know, full time now, which is like pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's been happening for a little over 3 years now, but man, it's a lot of work for sure. I mean, there were you know, years where I was, you know, putting in 30 hours at the restaurant on top of 30 to 40 hours of the channel editing and coming out with like $200 from the channel for the whole month. Right. So like, obviously the money to the work ratio doesn't add up, but it was just something that I had been more driven to do in a long time, like since football, like I was very driven with football. You know, it's a lot of work, you have to be.
Yeah.
But once that was done, this was what like grew like a fire in me, like a passion. I just really grew a passion for it, which just felt great because I just hadn't had that passion for much in like the last few years in that growing state of transitioning from, hey buddy, you're not going to be a professional sports player. That's not going to be your, you know, career. And yeah, it just grew a passion in me and I just really wanted to continue to do it and loved working on how, you know, the craft of it and everything. And yeah, now, you know, here we are, which is pretty crazy. You know, it's been kind of surreal building a community, like a fan base, a following. And I don't know, it's wild.
That's so awesome because I remember seeing you. It's been years since I've been seeing your clips.
Right. That's awesome.
I can't remember what the first one was, but I remember like going to your channel just to like the new movie had dropped or whether it was a spring movie or whatever it was. It was just like, I was curious what your opinion on it was, especially something like Scream, like when Scream 5 came out and been so long since the last one. But what was that first video for you that made you go like, this, we might have something?
So there's a few. The first one that kind of took off and it got like 175,000 views. And I was like, that's interesting. It was when we were talking about Tom Holland's Spider-Man, or like how strong Spider-Man really is. With like, maybe we were talking about Superior Spider-Man when Doc Ock, is in Peter Parker's body and becomes Spider-Man, and he realizes, like after all those years, how much Peter Parker was holding back his punches. Right. So how strong he is. Like he can knock his jaw off if he wanted to. And that one took off. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then the very first video to hit 1 million views, which was about 8 months after starting the channel. Okay. We did a Star Wars Jedi ranking. Okay. And Garrett he ranked his top 7 Jedis. And that was the first one to hit 1 million views. And it was able to get us to like 10,000 followers where we could enter the creator program that they had at the time. And we were like, hey, let's see what we can keep doing with this. Let's try to keep growing it.
Especially like kind of not poking at in a negative way, but when you like, Star Wars has such a massive fan base, just same as like Marvel, like that. But it's like, whether or not Garrett was right in his ranking, I don't remember what his ranking was. There's going to be people who disagree.
100%.
And so then there's another conversation there. It's like, how do you respond to the people who leave hate comments or anything like that?
You know, I've never really felt affected by that. Honestly, I think the way how I react to that sort of stuff, I'm like, can kind of attribute that to growing up in sports. Like, I think I'm very thankful and growing up in sports because it really disciplines you. You got to be disciplined to stay consistent and to perform well in sports. You have to be dedicated. And you can't let things bother you. I played defensive back. Someone catches the ball on you, someone scores a touchdown on you. All right, you got to get over it. Right. Next possession. You can't let that bother you the whole game or you're not going to perform the rest of the game. And so I think having that mindset and like growing up, having that around me really helped. And there's always going to be hateful comments. I like them, honestly, because it's just more comments and more engagement. Sure. And sometimes some of them are really funny. Yeah, honestly. But because I know that is a topic that a lot of content creators do bring up, and how it affects a lot of them mentally. Sure. But just can't let that happen. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's definitely a big conversation to be had on how you can implement that. Like, like you did grow up like you did. Mm-hmm. I mean, the actor in me is not hate comments, but like I've been auditioning for stuff since I was 8 years old, and you're gonna get 1 million no's. And that hard as a kid, but you build a tough skin. Yeah. So those, like when I get those comments, it's like, all right, cool, keep it moving. You just up my engagement. I appreciate it. Please do that. And I always try to respond with kindness too. Like if I am going to respond to a comment, like I had somebody, I can't remember which video it was, but somebody just put the fries in the bag. Like it was okay. For some reason, I feel like that's the one comment that does get under my skin. Thankfully, it hasn't really entered in our videos yet. But I'm like, put the fries. I hate that one. It's terrible. I know. But I just responded with, hey man, I'm sorry you didn't. I'm sorry this one didn't register with you. I'll try to do better next time. And like 9 times out of 10, they're like, my bad. Yes, my bad. Yes. Yeah. You respond back to some of the hateful comments, which I have done. And sometimes I get a little feisty here and there, but nothing crazy. Like I'm not calling them names right now. Not arguing with them, right? Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, 9 times out of 10, they will respond back and be like, hey, well, we love the channel. We're just, yeah. So there was, I had this like separate TikTok channel, and it's not one that I'm trying to make blow up. Right. I'm just doing TikTok filters because it's fun. Like if you've seen Cakes or Michael D. Costanza or anybody that do those like low block filters or something, I do it and I post it just because I'm having fun doing it. Yeah. And somebody had commented one of those, and I responded to
one of the hate comments with just a video of me. I was like, hey man, sorry you didn't like it. I'm having fun though, so I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting like 30 followers just off that. They're like, I appreciate the positivity.
Yeah.
It's like, so you need to put more kindness.
Right. Or like whenever a creator posts a sponsored video, and they're like, oh, the rent must be due, and like, well, actually it is. It's not as glamorous as sometimes you think.
But like, that's a bad thing.
Really,
you're working to build a channel so that this can be your career.
Yeah, exactly.
And for you, it is your career,
right?
And that's amazing. Like, but why do people look at that?
Yeah,
so negative?
And like, it's probably less than 1% of the ratio of like the amount of posts that we actually do post and how much of it is sponsored.
I don't think I've ever seen a sponsored video from you.
Exactly.
To be honest.
And we have to tell you, but it's like, less than 1% of all the videos that we have.
So I had something that popped into my head, but I didn't want to interrupt you when you were talking about how meticulous you are, the edit. I think that's something that a lot of viewers don't realize. Like, when they look at a podcast, they're like, oh, you guys are having a great time. And this is the fun part. Yeah, this is the fun part. Editing, people love it. People love to edit, but it is so meticulous. And then there's so many little minute details that people just don't understand. So you're talking about the time and effort that you put into, back when you were still working 30 to 40 hours at the restaurant, matching that editing videos.
Right.
People don't realize like that it takes time and just to do like an hour-long episode just to edit that.
Yeah.
So like in those moments for you, unless you enjoy editing like people do, were there moments where you're like, I got to shut it down?
Man,
at least for now.
There were definitely moments where I probably should have shut it down, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And just stayed up till 2 or 3 a.m. editing. But here's what I'll say. I do enjoy editing because I do like seeing the results, and say that video does well. It's like kind of rewarding just knowing that you put that video together and that people are responding to it well. Yeah. With the way you edit it and everything. So it's like, it is meticulous, it is tiresome, but it can be rewarding as well.
For sure.
Yeah, editing is not something that I thought I would be doing for a living, for sure, because in film school, you would have editing courses, right? And I very quickly was like, not doing that for a living.
There's really a science to it. Yeah. And to learn that science is one of the harder things to do in like, I mean, everything has its pros and cons, the hard parts, the fun parts. But like when we were editing the movie, like he had way more of an editing background than I did. And I directed, so I'm sitting in the director's chair watching them edit and kind of giving my 2 cents. Yeah. I'm like, I knew it was a lot, but I didn't realize it was this much. Right. And of course, when you're editing a film, you're dealing with different locations, different lighting, and you're trying to match everything tonally when you color grading and all that. It's hard.
That's tough. It's hard, especially if you are not in like a controlled environment. Right. Real
tough. The outdoor shoots in the woods at night is tough.
Yeah. For real. But there's moments where nothing crazy is even happening. You just like, say you accidentally hit this button, or you just accidentally skipped past what you needed to hit, and you're like, I'm gonna lose it.
Yes, that's so. For when I'm editing clips for the podcast, I don't know why I do this, because I should just do it on Final Cut. I edit it on Splice on my phone. Okay. Sometimes CapCut, he got me on that. Yeah. And it's just like, I got fat thumbs, and they're trying to cut it perfectly so I can post it on YouTube Shorts, and then you got to re-edit it to post on TikTok. Yeah. And I get the fat thumbs that are just messing up I'm trying to get it to the perfect millisecond to cut. And that's just cutting.
Yeah. If I ever need to have a quick edit, if I already exported it out of, because I use Premiere Pro. Okay. That's what I got used to in school. So I just stuck with that. And, but if I just need to do like a quick edit, I'll use CapCut in my phone real quick. And
it's better than I thought it was. I was actually using Splice. And when we were coming back from Atlanta shooting the episode with Chris Brochu, he was editing something on CapCut, and I was like, I didn't realize that there was so many tools right in there.
No, especially if you get like their pro version, which I haven't done that because like there's already got enough monthly subscriptions. But yeah, you start to realize like it'll show you examples of what they have for the pro version. I'm like, oh, so this is what all these TikTok videos use then, because like you start to realize how many TikTok videos we use CapCut as well, and they do have like a really great caption, you know, options and everything. So yeah, they got a lot of tools actually on there.
For sure. One thing we were talking about when I told him that you were coming in to do the show was talking about when he had first seen your content, and you know, comparing it to some of the other film podcasts. He was like, you and your brother just had so much joy talking about movies. Yeah, just happy to be doing it. It wasn't like, you know, you guys might have disagreements, but you're not sitting there arguing with each other. You're just having fun. And that's, I think, something that it drew him to it. It drew me to it, and probably draws most of your audience to it.
See, and that's nice to hear, because I think sometimes me and Garrett do agree too much with each other, and that's just because we're brothers.
Sure.
But no, that is nice to hear, because, you know, it seems like a lot of engagement on you know, a lot of videos these days is all about disagreeing and like just basically screaming at each other.
Right.
Like, but you know, so
it can be funny.
Right. Oh, 100%.
You gotta have that duality to it.
Yeah. There's gotta be a balance to it. So, but yeah, sometimes I'm like, Garrett, think of something different. We agree too much. But that's why I'm really glad that I'm starting to get him to watch a lot of horror movies, because that is one genre where we do have pretty different opinions.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see him watch, you know, all these horror movies that I watch, and just him having different opinions. I'm like, this is the one genre where we can differ from. Yeah. And I enjoy that.
And coming out of October, as a lot of the content was naturally Halloween films or horror films.
Yeah.
I just, because my son follows you guys on YouTube. He was asking me, he showed me the video where you were going through like the most watched horror or Halloween movies in your state. And he was watching that, and he was like, the one that blew him away was the Batman and whatever states they were.
There's like a few states.
Yeah. But that's one of those movies is like, I always debate Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
And I agree.
I
think 100% a Christmas movie.
Absolutely.
Because the whole movie takes place on Christmas. But the Batman doesn't take place all on Halloween. It starts on Halloween. Thursday, October 30th.
And that's what's, for me, I'm like, I can take it. I'll take it as a Halloween movie. I'm not going to defend it like I do Die Hard, but I'll take it. But my son was like, that's not a Halloween.
I agree. But a lot of people did watch it this Halloween.
That's so weird.
All my Letterboxd friends were logging that one. Halloween.
But see, the Penguin just came out too, so maybe watching that.
I have not been keeping up with that.
I watched the first episode. He keeps getting on me. I watched the first episode, and I'm like, good.
Yeah, everyone says they love it.
I watched the first episode, and I was like, this is perfect. I don't want to wait week to week.
Okay.
And I'm usually
binge it.
I'm usually pretty good with that. Like I enjoy I don't want to say old, because I was a kid when we were still watching.
Yeah.
I was watching Breaking Bad week to week.
Okay.
But it's like this is so good. I just want to sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
And so now there's only one episode left, and I'm going to rewatch the pilot and then watch all the way through.
You know what? I think that's what I'm gonna do. I just need to sit down one day, crank them out, and then get ready for. Maybe I won't make it in time for the finale, but I'll at least be around that.
The finale's this Sunday.
Yeah, I ain't gonna make it, but I'm gonna try my best to.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna just call it out. We cut so we can get ready for this. But now we're back, and we're gonna do build your perfect movie. Blake and I both have $15 to build our perfect movie.
I'm scared.
Should be.
Let's take it away. First category is director. At $5, you have Christopher Nolan. At $4, you got Quentin Tarantino. $3, you got Wes Anderson. $2, Tim Burton. And $1, Kevin Smith. So, Blake, who are you taking?
All right. Well, to sound pretty basic, but Tarantino is definitely a guy that is what also really got me into film and that journey as well. Yeah, I'd have to go Quentin Tarantino. A lot too because of the writing. I love his writing.
Oh, his writing is.
Yeah. So his writing and his climaxes are always fantastic. Yeah, I'll go Quentin.
Okay. So that was
the high one. That's a $4 one.
$4. Okay.
Oh yeah, I got to keep track of that.
I feel like I should go Nolan because it's Nolan. But the artsy film fan in me, I'm gonna spice it up. I'm gonna do something interesting. Wes Anderson.
Okay.
His films are so weird. Like
Very unique.
last year, I think my film of the year, this is probably a hot take too, was Asteroid City.
Asteroid City. Wow. Okay. I watched it once. I think I gave it like 3 stars. It's a movie that I definitely would be down to rewatch.
Yeah.
So
I liked it better on rewatch.
okay.
I did.
You know, some movies you do just have to go back and give it a rewatch.
Sure. Yeah. Wes Anderson though, he's just one of those filmmakers who you either love him or hate him. I think there's no in between.
Yeah. And what other filmmakers are like that? Because Christopher Nolan, I think, is pretty generally loved.
You either love or you hate. Sorry, I just cut back in.
Yeah, who's a director you think you
Tim Burton on that list, I feel like, is one you either love or hate.
Sure, absolutely. For
Zack
sure.
Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
Always got to mention him. You guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Next category is the genre of your film. At $5, we have science fiction. $4 thriller. $3 animation. $2. So is LJ's input. A24 type of drama.
Ooh.
And at $1 you have horror.
Ooh.
You can save a lot of money going.
I could. You know, Quinn's good with drama, but he's not A24 drama.
No.
He has some pretty gnarly scenes that are horror-esque. Even Death Proof, you could say, is a horror movie.
Good.
I'm going to save some money. I'll go horror.
All right.
There we go.
We'll see if that helps me at the end. I would be curious to either see him do horror or like on the complete opposite end for the $5, like science fiction.
Sure.
It would be interesting, but
he wants to do a Star Trek movie, right? Like that'd be. Is it Star Trek or Star Wars?
I don't think Star Wars. I think it would be Star Trek.
Yeah.
But then again, he's only supposed to do one more movie according to his rules.
But I think that was what I had seen. The only thing that can make him come back is to do a Tarantino version of the Star Trek.
Interesting.
I've only seen the first Chris Pine Star Trek movie. I never saw the show or any of the.
Yeah, I'm not a Star Trek guy.
Not me either. But it'd be different. It'd be
There would be.
So I have Wes Anderson. I don't. So what do I have? I have sci-fi.
Yeah, sci-fi $5, thriller $4, animation $3, and then A24 $2.
Could we see Wes Anderson do a Manchester by the Sea?
You know what's funny? The one that I was thinking, well, like, what about a Wes Anderson animation?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. Animation.
I think that'd be interesting.
Because that would fall like in the lines of like a Coraline. I could see him doing a Coraline type of super artsy, and it would have to be claymation, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, I like it.
That would be interesting.
I like it.
Okay, so Blake, you have $10 left,
Okay.
and LJ, you have 9.
You seemed confused there for a second. It was 9.
Because I'm adding, like, I put 3 plus 3 for you, so I have to, like, do the math in my head,
Oh, yeah.
which shouldn't be that hard. Third category is your 2 leads. At $5, you have Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. At $4, you have Andrew Garfield and, forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Journey Smollett. $3, you have Shia LaBeouf and Olivia Wilde.
This is interesting.
$2, you have Tom Holland and Madeline Klein. And at $1, you have The Rock and Kevin Hart.
I think either of us are going with $1.
No.
Oh, man. Okay, wait. Read me again. $4 and $3.
4 is Andrew Garfield and Journey Smollett. And $3 is Shia LaBeouf and Olivia Wilde.
Journey Smollett, Birds of Prey. She's in a lot of stuff. I don't know why I'm only thinking of Birds of Prey now.
Who's she playing Birds of Prey? Black Canary?
Canaria.
Ooh. She was with Andrew Garfield. I love Andrew Garfield. However, I feel like Shia LaBeouf and I gotta think horror.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino horror.
Quentin Tarantino horror.
You know Andrew Garfield can do the dialogue.
All right. Yeah, low key, because there's no one better at having a crash out than Shia LaBeouf in a movie. It really isn't. Oh man! Shout out to my guy Alex Coleman, who's a Transformer Dark of the Moon stan. That's a funny movie. I think I'm gonna go $3. Give me $3 for Shia LaBeouf and Olivia Wilde for a Quentin Tarantino horror movie.
It's gonna be a dramatic set. It's gonna be a dramatic set. You know they have their beef.
Hey, which could come into play though.
Absolutely.
You know, let's feel that. Let's feel that tension on screen. And you got Tarantino directing. Oh, we're hitting all cylinders.
The anxiety is gonna be great.
Yes. I think it's gonna work out.
All right, so I have a Wes Anderson animation. And who are my options left? The Rock and Kevin Hart.
5, 4, 2, and 3. You got Denzel, Viola, Andrew Garfield, and Journey Smollett, Tom Holland, Madeline Klein, and The Rock, Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Do it.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Okay. Okay. The animation's got me here.
Yeah, I didn't think about that part.
So here's the thing. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I don't love a lot of his other projects.
Right. Which I think why this Christopher Nolan movie he's going to be in is going to be big for him.
He's gonna prove himself.
Yeah.
I did like though. What was the Netflix one? The Devil.
The one. Yeah, the Devil.
Wow, what the hell is it? The Devil in Disguise. It's not.
No, it was like because it's not like The Devil Inside Me. It's not.
It's something like that.
Something.
You can edit the poster in here. But that movie was decent.
The Devil in All of Us. Something like that. Something like that. Along those lines.
I see him typing. He's about to tell it. I thought you were searching the title.
No, I'm looking for his movies. There's Cherry, there's what you said the first word is?
It's the Devil something.
Yeah, the word devil's in it.
Tom Holland movie?
Yeah.
Damn, that
Ken
is hard to find.
and Robert Pattinson.
Right.
Avengers.
Robert Pattinson got country accent.
Oh, the devil all the time.
All the time.
That's it.
Yeah,
I did enjoy that movie.
Okay.
I'm not going Tom Holland.
It sounds like you are.
No, I'm gonna go Garfield.
Solid.
Garfield and Journey Smollett.
Okay.
Solid.
Yeah, I like it.
That'll be good for a Wes Anderson one.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So that was $4. Okay. All right, Blake, you got plenty of money left.
Okay.
You got $7 left, and we only have one more category. LJ, you got $5 left. So you both are doing good.
Pretty solid.
Last category is setting. $5, you got New York City. $4, you have alternate dimension. $3, you have Japan. $2, jungle. And at $1 is a prison.
Oh, you could go a lot of different ways.
Yeah. But for some reason, I already made up my mind. I instantly... Ooh, I might be taking this from you. I'm not sure. But I'm going to go $3 in Japan.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, I feel like Tarantino, like we see with Kill Bill, he's got a lot of appreciation for other cultures and like movies in those, countries. I think he could cook in Japan. And I think you can get some pretty interesting lore there for a horror movie.
Absolutely.
And Shia LaBeouf is definitely going to have a crash out. Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing a Quentin Tarantino horror movie starring Shia LaBeouf and Olivia Wilde in Japan.
I like it. I want to see that.
Right?
Yeah, that does sound pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But I really want to be behind the scenes to watch the crash out.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Crash out in the middle of Tokyo. Okay, so LJ, you got plenty of money left.
I know where I'm going. An alternate dimension.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like all of his films already are that.
Right.
But I think that's perfect. So I got a Wes Anderson animated film starring Andrew Garfield, Journey Smollett, it takes place in an alternate dimension. I want to see that.
These are interesting movies.
Bonus question.
Okay.
No money needed.
Thank you.
Who would you use, or who would you pick as your composer? And
Oh.
there's only like one correct.
Oh man, but you got to think for the film too. You know, I don't know the composer's name, but like the composer that he had for The Hateful Eight, that was a fantastic score.
Yeah.
But a horror score. Got to think horror score. Oh shit. No, give me John Carpenter
Yeah.
for a horror score. Yeah, all day. All day.
Solid pick. All right, LJ.
I am not the person. I'm not the person for this one because I'm trying to think of somebody who could have a weird score.
Right.
And all the people I'm thinking of just have beautiful, perfect scores. That would be great for most films. But for an animated Wes Anderson film, I don't know where to go with that.
So I'm thinking you need a quirky score, a weird score. The composer for Poor Things with Emma Stone's last year.
Perfect. Who was that? By the way, that movie made me laugh so much.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah.
Jerskin Fendrix.
There you go. That sounds like a Wes Anderson composer right there.
He looks like he would be on a Wes Anderson
Yes.
set. I think we made some great movies.
How do we get these greenlit?
We got to write them. We got to pitch them.
My problem is that Tarantino has to write.
I know. You show up with a script, just like, oh, fuck off.
It's like, I'll make it 10 times better.
Okay, both those are really interesting. I would love to see both of them, but I would want to see Blake's film first.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Never seen a Wes Anderson movie, so
You've never seen a Wes Anderson movie?
Yeah, like you said, you're either going to love or hate it.
But he doesn't know yet. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But the other quick little thing we have here is, I guess,
Little this or that.
Movie versus.
Yeah.
I like it.
okay, so I think there's about 10. Might throw in some random ones, but Goodfellas versus The Bronx Tale.
I'm a big Goodfellas guy.
I love Goodfellas, but there's just something about A Bronx Tale for me, because A Bronx Tale has a nice element of innocence to it that just feels special.
Yeah.
And then there's the dark side to it, just so you get a little bit of everything. They're both great movies, but you're going Goodfellas, I'm going to Bronx Tale.
Yeah. And a lot of people that I talk to that do love Bronx Tale, they do sort of say that same thing that you just said. And but yeah, I gotta go Goodfellas. One of maybe the first Scorsese film that I did see.
Really?
Yeah. And one of the best narrations in the movie as well. Like, narration, I think, is very tricky.
Right.
And to be honest, that's why I think Casino wasn't my favorite of his, because there was narration going on from so many different characters. But Goodfellas did it perfectly. I'll go Goodfellas.
You're the first person to say that about Casino. Like,
Really?
and I completely agree.
You're the first person to agree with me.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, next up we got The Departed versus No Country for Old Men.
The Departed.
The Departed.
It's gotta be.
The Departed. I'm in back-to-back Scorsese, but
Yep. That's my number one favorite movie of all time.
that's valid. The performances are just spectacular. And I do really enjoy No Country for Old Men, but it's just nothing like The Departed.
I love it too. And I'm a guy who likes a slow burn.
Yeah.
It was a little too slow for me.
Okay.
Still enjoyable, still great,
Right.
but a little too slow.
Law-Abiding Citizen versus The Town.
I haven't seen either of those, actually.
You haven't seen it. I expected you to at least seen The Town.
I know, because it's Ben Affleck, right? Did he direct that as well?
He directed.
Yeah.
All right.
What would you choose for that one?
That's the tough part because I love both of those movies.
You did say you like Boston movies.
Yeah. See, the easy answer is The Town.
Uh-huh.
Law-Abiding Citizen. I need you to watch it.
Okay.
All right. So that's Jamie Foxx,
Right.
Gerard Butler,
Okay.
directed by F. Gary Gray,
Okay.
and it is a banger of a thriller.
You know, it's funny. My girlfriend was trying to get me to watch it too, like a year ago, but we just landed on something different.
I think you would like it.
All right. Well,
I like it. It's very exciting, and it's one of those that has a decent twist that it'll keep you on the edge of your seat. I think I'm going law abiding to this.
Whoa. All right.
Free Guy versus Ready Player One.
I haven't seen Free Guy yet, so I'm just going to go Ready Player One. And I have a feeling even if I did see Free Guy, I'd go Ready Player One.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Ready Player One.
Yeah.
I kind of went into that blind. I didn't know it was based on a book. I just knew Spielberg was directing it. I enjoyed the pop culture references in there as well. So yeah, I'd go Ready Player One.
Free Guy's a lot of fun. It was a lot better than I expected it to be. I went in thinking I would hate it.
And I feel like that's another one where people have either really enjoyed it or hated it.
Yeah. Absolutely. But it's one of those movies that is like, because it came out during COVID and so much bad stuff happening. It was a movie that was just a feel good movie. Like I felt good watching it.
Okay.
With that being said, it's Ready Player One.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this. He actually doesn't remember it, but Ready Player One, I auditioned for that film, and I was in college. I auditioned for it, and he filmed my audition.
No way.
Yeah, nothing came of it, but I actually bought the book because I was auditioning to play the lead. Spielberg's directing. I was like, I need to know everything I need to know about, because I want to do the best of my ability with this one. And so we filmed it in like backstage of our conference center at our college. And I had this old, because the way the sides were written for that, and it was this guy who takes place in the future. He loves like these classic pop culture things, and he was obsessed with old cameras. I don't even remember where I got it from, who I got it from, but I had this old ass like Polaroid camera. I just had it around my neck. It was just there during the scene. I have to find it and see if I have to see if I can find that.
That's cool though.
Yeah. So I did just find the original text that I sent you a long time ago with a lot of these.
Okay.
Cool.
But how many more you guys want to do?
I can keep going. I'm
I love
good.
it. All right, so I'll finish off your list. Free Guy's great, by the way. Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained.
Ooh.
This is all him.
Ooh. Okay, so
They're both near perfect movies.
Pulp Fiction was my first Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Obviously that's one where you're a Tarantino guy, that's like the influential movie for you.
Right.
But I'm going Django.
You going Django?
I'm going Django. I think it's got everything you want in the movie. It's got action. It's got revenge. It's got love. It's got drama. Great revenge story. Sure. Damn, one of Leo's best performances.
Absolutely.
Oh,
He
yeah.
cups his hand.
Yeah. So
I will in it. He has never seen it.
I know all this stuff, though.
yeah. But I'm gonna go Django.
Go Django. Now, let me ask you this, though.
Okay.
Originally offered to Will Smith. Would you still have picked it if Will Smith was the lead? It's the same movie, same everything, just place Will Smith in there.
Like, I like Will Smith, but part of me just says no because, like, I don't know. Jamie Foxx did so well.
He really did.
Like that was the
It was meant for him.
yes, that was the perfect casting choice. I'm just imagining Will Smith and like his Will Smith voice in some of those scenes, and I'm just like, I don't think it works as well.
It doesn't. Yeah. You took Django. I'm going Pulp Fiction.
Which is
I love Django. I think is my number 2 in my Quentin rank.
That's my number 2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interstellar, Oppenheimer.
This is like 1A, 1B right here, man. So. Okay.
It's the best pose for a podcast.
So I've recently, oh man, because I think I saw Oppenheimer like 3 times in theater. I love it. And I think I was like, I officially decided to put Oppenheimer as Nolan's best. Again, this is 1A, 1B, and I am so excited to see Interstellar and IMAX being re-released in IMAX. I saw it in theaters this past year, which was the first time I saw it in theaters.
Okay.
Because I hadn't seen it in theaters when it first came out. And even though it wasn't IMAX when I saw it in theaters this past year, it was still so good. I mean, I cried like 5 times. and I just can't wait to see it in IMAX. But like, as of now, I'm still gonna hold true to Oppenheimer.
That's my pick too.
Okay,
It is. So he's pissed. I love Interstellar.
love it so much.
I think what hurts me is that I haven't seen it in theaters.
Okay,
I've only seen it on the TV in my bed.
right.
And I love it. It's great, but the theater experience for Oppenheimer was that good. Like, I have to go Oppenheimer, but again, like you said, is 1A, 1B.
Mm-hmm. Hearing Ludwig's score of Oppenheimer in theaters was just, oh my God. Like every single track on there, just you levitated during those scores. And I mean, you will sing Interstellar in IMAX too, like Hans Zimmer. I think that's my favorite Hans Zimmer score. And I'm telling you, when you see it in theaters, you have to let me know, because seeing, like I said, seeing the docking scene, seeing all the detached scene in theaters, brother, it's so beautiful. You will cry just from how beautiful it is.
Yeah, I can't wait. When is that? I knew it was coming out
Early December.
early December.
Yeah.
So I just showed him this on the way here because Interstellar might be his favorite. Is it your favorite movie, Interstellar? No, it's up there though.
Yeah, it's like 4.
Okay.
It's 4. Yeah.
Of all your movies. Okay.
I'm a steelbook collector, and I just got
Steelbooks.
the
I'm trying to grow it. Like, it's still small, but
yeah.
now I'm like, if I'm going to buy a DVD or 4K now, whatever you call it, I'm doing Steelbook.
Yeah, I'm the same way. My issue though is like if it's like like if I'm buying, say, something from Marvel, right? I need all of them. I can't just buy one of the.
And surprisingly, Marvel actually has fantastic Steelbooks.
Oh, I just said the opposite.
Really?
I like some of them. So some of like I have the No Way Home one.
Okay.
I really like that one.
Because my friend has been buying a lot of Marvel Steelbooks, and not just MCU, like even Sony, like the Venom movies. I'm not a fan of those, but the Venom Let There Be Carnage Steelbook is pretty damn sick.
Yeah.
So
I can't get that and not have the
yeah, right.
Yeah, so I just got the Interstellar one. Well, I pre-ordered it. Comes out. It comes out in December, and I'm excited to get that one.
I love a good Steelbook.
I just bought, and I showed this to him last week. I like the movie. If I didn't like the Steelbook, I would have never bought it. Spiral. The Saw spinoff.
Oh,
Chris
yes,
Rock.
yes.
Like, it's a cool movie. Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. But the Steelbook is perfect.
Really?
Like, I just bought it because I like the artwork.
It's funny because I feel like some of the worst movies or some of my least favorite movies have the best Steelbooks.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
so weird.
We're really low.
I'm gonna skip to some random ones.
Okay.
Ooh.
Start saying Jurat.
Hunger Games versus Divergent.
I haven't seen The Divergent.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I haven't seen Divergent because I didn't want to see it. It didn't appeal to me. I don't know.
Dances with Wolves versus Avatar.
I thought you were going to continue to say Avatar: Last Airbender movie.
You got Dances with Wolves.
I'll just go with Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah, just like classic blockbuster. I remember seeing that one in theaters as a kid.
Ooh, that's a good one. Insidious versus Sinister.
Ooh, that is a good one. That's a very good one, actually.
I've seen a lot of people say Sinister is the scariest movie ever made.
I disagree with that.
I hope
It is scary. Don't get me wrong.
I loved it. But I don't see where it's the scariest movie of all time.
I'm gonna go Insidious.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah,
I see. We're agreeing too much too. Yeah. Insidious is one of those for me. If Scream wasn't my number one Insidious,
really,
it might be.
Well, and James Wan is fantastic.
He is.
And we've been talking about James Wan a lot this past spooky season, and just how I think he still might not get the credit that he deserves. In terms of like the great modern horror directors, you could still say he doesn't get the respect he deserves. Like, his name should always be in that conversation.
Right.
Insidious, fantastic. The score is fantastic. Love the concept.
I said it earlier, dude. Tiptoe through the tulip.
Yeah.
I remember when my son was a baby, like maybe 3 weeks old. My grandmother came over to see him, and she's holding him, she's rocking him, and she starts singing Tiptoe. I was like, no, give me my baby.
And you didn't even know she was gonna start singing that?
No. I was
She just started randomly singing that?
Yeah. I was like, what are you doing? She was like, I'm just singing to my grandson. I was like, not that song.
Yeah, no, the PTSD started coming in there.
I was so give me my baby. You're not singing the demonic song. She's like, it's just the song. I was like, no, it's not. Give me it's my baby.
Oh man, so I'll take this time to talk about the house real quick at Halloween Horror Nights this past year. And by far the scariest house I've ever done at Halloween Horror Nights. I went through it 4 times. I got more scared each time. The costumes and the mask in that house were absolutely fantastic. I'm not even kidding. I fell to my knees. I fell to my knees twice in one walkthrough, and then I fell to my knees the time before that. So I think I fell to my knees a total of like 3 times walking through that house from being scared so much. And it's a great feeling. I love being now. I love being scared, but the adrenaline rush was unreal in that house.
I've never gone Halloween Horror Nights.
It's a good time. This year, I will say, was one of the weaker years, but Insidious was great. Definitely a gem from this year, and scariest house I've ever done.
My coworker, him and his girlfriend went, and they had never been either. And I had said to him, I was like, I'm seeing a lot of people say the Insidious house might be the best one. And he had went and he came back and he was like, I liked it. It was cool. He said the Ghostbusters one was scarier. I was like, what?
See, and it's funny you say that because everyone will have a different experience in a house. It depends where you get the scare. Like a lot of people's perception, or like say they don't think Insidious house was that great, probably because they didn't get the scares.
Right.
As to where me, for some reason, every time I was in that house, I got the scares. I've also kind of perfected my craft of how to, walk through those houses, when to slow down, when to speed up. Like I've just, we go every year, so I've kind of perfected that. But it's funny you say that because our friend that we went with as a group, one of the times there, Ghostbusters is not a scary house, but you would think she just walked through the scariest house she had ever been through. She was catching every scare. And I think because her guard was so down, because we told her it's not a scary house, but her guard was so down and she caught every scare. You'd think she walked through the Insidious house.
I wish I went. I had none of my friends wanted to go. Like not many of my friends like horror movies or like.
You let me know next year because I always get the frequent fear pass. So you let me know, we'll go,
dude. Absolutely, I would love that. And because I've never done it. I've never done the Busch Gardens one either. I'm not sure how I would handle it.
Busch Gardens one, I did that when I was a teenager. I only did it once, so I don't remember a whole lot. But I do know like Universal is the place to go for that thing. Like the production value is movie level stuff.
Yeah, so we got to do that next.
Yeah, not to mention they have 10 houses. So yeah,
I'm trying to think. That I remember years ago. I think they had done another Insidious one a couple of years ago, right? Or am I thinking of?
They did The Exorcist last year. Exorcist Believer. I don't know if it was Insidious. I don't think it was Insidious.
You're thinking Black Phone.
They did Black Phone. Yeah.
How was that?
That wasn't scary.
Wasn't scary.
Nah.
I like that movie. To me, wasn't scary either, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't scary though. No, it's really cool. And even the people who go to the horror nights out in Hollywood, they always say the Orlando one is better.
Really? Yeah. I think there's more space. I haven't been to the Hollywood.
Yeah, no, yes. Everyone says it's a lot smaller there.
I wonder if they implement the new park in the Halloween Horror Nights next year.
Oh, Epic?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they the classic monster stuff. They do classic monster specific houses.
Right. They might do that, but they might just do it in Universal Studios.
They don't do anything at
Yeah, because they used to. I mean, they tried doing that. They did it like almost 20 years ago where both parks were open. And then one year they tried to include their Marvel parts and Marvel characters as part of like their scare zones and houses. And Marvel was like, no, don't do that. Yeah. They didn't like that.
No, that's more for Mickey.
Yeah,
Mickey's
right. Yeah.
You got some more left?
We can do a few more if you want. I'm good.
Yeah, there's Friday versus Pineapple Express.
Oh, wow. Hitting us with the stoner flicks now.
It's for me. I love Pineapple Express. It's Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
Also, Friday After Next. That's a Christmas classic in my house every Christmas.
Thank you. That's a Christmas movie.
It is.
And it's a classic.
Absolutely.
You know, it's funny because everyone always talks about how Friday, it is a classic. There's no denying that. But everyone disregards the other ones and say like the sequels weren't funny. I'm like, I don't know what movies you were watching, but I think they're funny. And I thought Mike Epps was like the perfect addition for those movies.
I rank him 1, 3, 2, which people tell me I'm nuts that people say 3 is the worst. But I love 3.
I love 3. I think that's the one I'd probably quote the most.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Top Flight Security of the World credit is like almost every day from
Yeah. Wait, where's your antennas?
so great.
2 more. 2 more. 2 more.
He's got one in mind though.
The Matrix versus Inception.
Inception for me. I didn't like The Matrix.
That's a hot take.
Couldn't get into it. I tried. I've tried watching it. And I know what you're thinking. Don't do it. I tried watching Matrix 3 times and I just couldn't get into it.
Interesting. You know, I'm gonna go Inception too. I'm definitely more of a Christopher Nolan guy.
Yeah.
I love Keanu Reeves, you know, but I do love the John Wick movies.
Yeah.
You know, I'm definitely more Keanu Reeves John Wick than Keanu Reeves Matrix.
Sure.
Yeah, I've only seen the first Matrix once. I haven't even seen the other Matrix movies. So like, I remember really enjoying it. I don't know if I like loved it. I still rated it very high, but I don't know if I like loved it, you know?
See, but I did it for Django. Who got The Matrix with Will Smith because Neo. It's all for him.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got to go Inception.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last one. I don't really know you guys' opinions, but Shrek versus Toy Story.
Ooh.
Twist. Are we doing franchise versus franchise or the first versus the first?
I think first
versus first.
I think first against first makes it harder.
Yeah, it does.
Damn.
I don't like my answer, but my answer is my answer. And it's Shrek. I feel like it should be Toy Story, but it's Shrek.
And I respect that. But my heart is saying Toy Story.
Both look so unsure.
I really am, man, because I love Shrek 2. I think Shrek 2 is my favorite.
Yeah.
But I mean, the first one, though, it's a great adventure movie.
It would have been tougher if you said Toy Story 2 or Shrek 2 because
I think so.
Toy Story 2 is my favorite Toy Story.
Same. Toy Story 2 is my favorite. Shrek 2 is my favorite. Toy Story 2 is a fantastic sequel.
It is.
That would be, you know what? Let's throw that in. Toy Story 2 versus Shrek 2.
You made it harder for yourselves, but
I gotta go Toy Story 2. I rewatched it the other month. And it's funny because my girlfriend just put it on as we were like cooking dinner. I stood up and just watched the whole thing. I'm like, you can't put on Toy Story 2 and expect me not to watch it.
Yeah, I'm going Toy Story 2 also. It's that I don't know why that's always been my favorite Toy Story movie because it's like
that's a great adventure too. You get some Woody lore, you know, in the Roundup crew, and
it's easy to say the third's the best, but
I like Toy Story 2 the best.
So do I. And can we agree we didn't need 4?
I haven't even seen 4.
Don't.
And there's 5 coming.
I know.
But like the scene of them crossing the street and the cone, Zurg,
Alice Toy Barn, that whole aesthetic was great.
Yes.
Like, and there's something so satisfying about how when Woody's getting fixed, like it's, oh my gosh, I got to watch Toy Story 2 tonight.
But I will say Shrek 2 is definitely funnier.
Oh yeah.
And
we're going to Shrek 5 also.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's on number 5 now.
We'll revisit this in 2 years.
Yeah. See what we think. We'll compare franchise to franchise.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's basically all of them. I know there's more. We could do this for days, but that's pretty much all of them.
I think that was a good one to end on. That was a tough one.
Listen, we could go hot take for hot take. I know I saw it in his face. He wants to call out my Man of Steel hot take, just like
What's your Man of Steel hot take?
Just like Hack Guy.
Okay. You hate it?
I hate it. I want to love it.
It's absolutely crazy.
Listen, I've watched Man of Steel from start to finish 14 times.
Holy shit.
And I still hate it. I'm trying to see what everybody else loves about
If you've
it.
seen it that many times and still hate it, I'm not going to ask you to watch it anymore. I'm not.
I've liked Henry Cavill more and more each performance.
Okay.
He's a great actor.
Yes.
It was just the movie itself didn't sit right with me.
Okay.
I feel like Superman to me, and I'm a fan of darker things, so I liked that version of the DCE going in a darker route. I like that, but it didn't work for Superman for me. Like a Superman standalone film, it worked in Justice League, it worked in BVS, it didn't work in Man of Steel for me.
Interesting. Just didn't hit for you.
It didn't. It did, and I just bought the Steelbook.
It's a good Steelbook?
No. It came in a bundle. It came in a bundle with BBS and Wonder Woman. I was like, why am I spending money on Man of Steel?
Interesting. Well, I feel like since our friend at the Escape Pod, Alex, Hat Guy as they call him, has expressed his opinion, there's been a lot more Man of Steel haters come out of the woods. So I think the Hans Zimmer score just gets me as well.
Scores great.
Score is great. I love the first flight scene in that track. And will say one thing that I do love about the DCEU, not that there's like a whole lot to love, but the costume design. Oh yeah, absolutely love for the DCEU.
The other hot take is Ben Affleck is the best Bruce Wayne Batman.
And you think that?
Yes.
That's not a hot take.
Is it not? Everybody tells me I'm
You know what?
Well, I agree with you.
I think it's become a little more popular, but I still would consider it a hot take because now that Robert Pattinson has become Batman, everyone's instantly going to Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
But Batfleck, baby.
Yes.
Batfleck's where it's at. And boy, does he look good in that suit. And it is a damn good suit.
We agreed more than I thought we would.
Right?
I don't find a lot of people who agree with me on film, so I'm happy.
That's good.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know what? He agrees with me on this. I was about to end it, but it just popped into my head. Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Thank you.
We're clicking today.
Thank you.
We're just clicking. We're right here.
Thank
Across the Spider-Verse, fantastic. I loved it. But something about Into the Spider-Verse. I love that story. It definitely feels more contained. I mean, it deals with it does deal with multiverse stuff and Into the Spider-Verse, but not on the level of Across the Spider-Verse, obviously. And there's just so many scenes in there. It definitely makes me more emotional.
Yes.
And
the thing that I missed the most in the second one was the relationship between Miles and Peter B. Parker.
Okay. And with his dad too. I mean, you get a lot of that in
the beginning
of Across the Spider-Verse, but throughout the movie and Into the Spider-Verse, that relationship with his dad and like the scene where he's talking to Miles through the door.
Yeah.
Come on. That gets me.
I love it. All right, guys, this has been a great episode of Maybe One Day. Like, my guy, Mike, there we go. I messed it up. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you so much for having me. Glad we made this happen. This was a blast.
It was.
I had a lot of fun. And we got to hit Horror Nights next year.
Yes.
We got to hit that together.
Hey, don't judge me if I'm too scared.
No, that's fine. I've been there so many times, I still get scared.
Okay.
But thank you again for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you. Duck Takes, follow him. This has been great, man. I'm so happy. All right. I appreciate it. I see you guys next time.
Peace.